Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So I'm creating something called Month in Review Face Your Finances. My goal as a channel is to pay off my student loans and become more financially literate. A bit about me is I don't really have much of a financial background, which I've mentioned before in my videos, but I would like to get better. So I'm 25, I live in the Midwest, and at my job, I make about $63,000. And sometimes there are raises in place for that, and they do give bonuses. I've only been at my job for about 6 months, so I have not received that bonus yet, but I believe it is set for not October, for February. But one of the perks with my job is they do provide lunch for you. So that does help with groceries if I choose to eat there. So, facing my finances, I've laid out everything so far that I have categories for. I made a little note here. As a scientist, you don't scribble out your answers, you just do a single dash there. So you can kind of see where I got everything. So fixed expenses, they sometimes come out twice a month, which that doesn't make sense to some. So for my car, for example, it can come out during the 29th. So for example, it came out September 29th and it'll come out October 29th. So while I say it's the same month, I'm meaning like paychecks. So that's what I mean by that. I have not had the car payment for this month. It should come out today or tomorrow. Sometimes they're a little bit slower about it. And also I have 3 student loans that will come out before the next paycheck. So going through the month of October, what were some wins for me and what were some speed bumps? I would say for some wins, I was really good about staying on top of my finances as far as like putting them in. So I have a Google document where I track every single expense, whether it be fixed or variable. So I'm really good at doing that. And I've tried physical documents. I did actually order an ADHD budget from her shop with ADHD budgets. So we're gonna try that out because I do like doing it online, but for video's sake, it might be easier for me to have a physical, a tangible object in front of me. What were some speed bumps? So looking at everything over here, I kind of had an oh shit moment when it came to impulse. $542.20. And the crazy thing is, it doesn't even feel like that. Some of the items were online and then some of them were not. I think my speed bumps were good. Bad speed bumps were ordering online and maybe not so much is just like keeping myself in check. I did have some impulse money left over, and I still have impulse money left over. So I need to get better about if I buy something online to put the money that's in the impulse category back into the bank. So not putting money back into bank. So one of my, it really stuck out to me when I was purchasing something impulsively. I went to Joann Fabric. I wanted to buy some, you know, fabric to make a blanket. I saw fabric to make 2 cute blankets, and I'm like, oh, it can't be that expensive. 2 yards each, so 2, 4, 6, 8 yards, so 2 blankets, just a tie blanket, $90. And part of me was just like, there's no way, that's insane. And the other part of me was just like, you know what, you already had it cut, just take your loss. So I'm trying to learn from my mistakes and what I'm doing to continue to make these mistakes. Impulse is also just a really broad thing because impulse also was, you know, I needed groceries. I was out of money in that category, so I just pulled from impulse. Dogs, Sage, needed a different leash. So I'm trying to do a gentle leash lead for her because she's getting very strong. And another thing is I used about $50. I marked it for impulse because Sage ate the drywall. So if you're ever thinking about getting a Bernese Mountain Dog puppy, maybe think again if you're not watching her or him all the time. So yeah, those are 2 of the things, maybe not even just 2 things, just some of the things I would maybe do differently is if you're gonna spend impulsively, know what you're spending, and don't go in blind like I did for my $90 blankets. You just tell yourself no if you can't. And it's really hard for me to do that because I've never really had to. So this is all new for me. But yeah, I feel like I'm definitely getting better and it's just going to be what it's going to be. What would you like to do differently in November and why? What would I like to do differently? Tell myself no. What else would I like to do? Only spend on what I have available. Don't touch debit card. I don't have a credit card, so. Why would I like to do those things? Telling myself no basically just goes back to the first point. If you don't have it, don't spend it, and don't pull from your savings. And don't touch your debit card, because something for me is I cannot keep money in my checking account, because if I do and I'm like, oh, I can spend it, but really it's for a bill, or, you know, I'm trying to create a buffer, but I'm like, oh, that's what it's there for, but it's not. And it's really hard for me to not touch those things. So I need to uninstall my debit card, I guess, from my phone as well. But yeah, so tell myself no, spend what I have available in cash, don't touch your debit card. It's kind of hard sometimes when I want to buy things online. I just bought a few more budgeting tools, which is from the impulse category. Even though I had been thinking about it, I don't have a category for it, so we're gonna call it impulse. So that's for number 2. Number 3, what has this month taught you about your spending habits? I'm impulsive. I'm an impulsive person. I don't really know how to describe that, but I just have never really had to tell myself no. So if I wanted it, I could just go and grab it. But the repercussion for that is that I can overspend, or I take more than I actually have available in my checking account, and then I have to replace it from my savings. And then that hurts. So say if I need those savings later on. So then if I have to pull from my savings, I don't have as much money in my savings, and I want that to have money, so then I have to pull from my high yield savings account, and it's just trickling down. So this month has taught me, don't touch your money. that's not physically in front of you. And it hurts to look at that because you work hard and you want to be able to touch your money, but you can't because you have bills and you have debts that you have to pay. And I'm going to do that. There's no reason for me not to do that. So yeah, this month has taught me that I'm impulsive. And I spend more than I have. So I'm writing sideways. Sorry if that bothers you. I will straighten it out when I'm done if you want to read this. But when I write, I kind of write sideways. So yes, those are things that I've learned. It's just that I spend more than I have. Also, what has this month taught me about my spending habits? I have subscriptions I don't even realize I have until they come back and I realize I only pause them. Great example, gym membership came back to bite me after a couple months that I had it frozen. $20. Poof, gone from my account that I will have to replace with my cash. So I will be taking money to the bank to do that later today. And I think that's teaching me discipline. You know, cancel your stuff. My boyfriend has been telling me to cancel my free Prime that I signed up for. So I need to do that or else it's $14 or $15. Just poof, gone. I need to listen to him a bit more when it comes to stuff like that. Because he's like, do you have any other memberships? And then I'm like, no, of course not. Yes, I do. Believe me, I do. So I need to get better about that. Number 4. Sorry. How can you prevent these speed bumps from happening again? I would say have a tighter leash on my spending. That's really it. Just having a tighter leash, telling myself no. So something embarrassingly enough, I didn't have any money in my checking account. I went to the grocery store. I was like, oh, I have a buffer. It'll be fine. I didn't realize that buffer was gone. I went to the store and my card was declined for $2. Mind you, I had cash somewhere. I think I left it at home, my wallet. And I was like, oh, I'll just use my card really quickly. I didn't want to move money from my savings, $2, mind you, from my savings to my checking account. So I bit the bullet. I just put the item back and then I left. And it's kind of an eye-opening thing, especially over $2 of if you don't have it, you don't get it. And I was so embarrassed because I've never had anything like that happen before where, you know, my card got declined. I've been on the other side of the table as a cashier where, you know, you see people's cards get declined and you're like, okay, well, sorry, that's it. But to be the person on the other side, it's just it kind of bothered me a bit. So now I make sure I always have my money with me, my cash. And if you don't have money in your checking account, you don't have money in your checking account. Don't touch it. Because my bills had just cleared that day. So lucky me, nothing in the account, but also I don't want to make my account bounce and be negative. So, you know, it's fine-tuned. And we're still learning as far as how much can I have in the account. I just took out a buffer today. I just did my cash stuffing video before this, but I took out a $298 buffer. So I would have that physically. So, you know, my $20 today that poof came out, things like that. Also, I'm in a different setup. So if my camera is shaking, I'm on a different table. I think I'll probably go back to my other area that I do my cash stuffing, but I thought it'd be a little bit quieter up here from the dogs, but that's not quite true. So yeah, trying to prevent my speed bumps from happening again. I wouldn't call it a full stop. You know, I create these little words, things that keep me motivated. So facing my finances is facing myself. And I'm somebody with really strong financial anxiety. Like, I don't like talking about money. I don't even want to look at my account. So this is a really good way for me to face myself and face my finances and figure out where I'm at and how to do better for myself now in the future. If my partner and I decide to have kids, the whole shebang. So yeah, speed bumps. It's not a full stop. We're just going over a little bit of a pause and something that's kind of hindering me, but it's not stopping me from continuing forward. So yeah, tighter leash on spending, just accountability. Knowing when I've done something I shouldn't do. So, you know, just accountability there. And just making sure I look at everything that I've been doing. But yeah, so there's that. And then this is where I'm talking about with the trickle down of, you know, you spend too much in your checking, so then you got to take from your savings. You take from your savings, you got to replace that. So I take it from my high yield savings account, which granted, that sucks, but, you know, it has to be done. I look at my high yield savings account and it makes me sad because there's money missing. So yeah, this is specifically for me. But if you're one of those type of people, totally let me know. I would love to hear your story as well. So you moved money from your high yield savings account to your regular savings account in case of emergency. How did it feel to move my money from my high yield savings account to my emergency savings? Let's just say shitty. It didn't feel good. It really didn't feel good. Although I will say that physical cash hurts me more than seeing numbers on a screen. It really doesn't feel good to see the numbers dip. So I'll just say shitty. Because, yeah, if I had just been responsible and not taken money out of my checking account that I should not have, and it was strictly just for bills, then I wouldn't have had to take from my emergency fund that's in my regular account. And then if I didn't do that, I wouldn't have had to take from my high yield savings account. And it's just been a cycle. Although I have not touched my high yield savings account recently, it's been a little buffer taking from my emergency fund in my regular account. And I want to stop doing that. So pretty much just in one word, how did it feel? Shitty. It didn't feel good. I don't want to keep doing it. So what do you need to do instead of pulling from savings? Only spend what you have accounted for. Simple as that. How much of a buffer would make you feel more comfortable and keep you from overspending? So like I said, I have about $300 as a physical buffer that I have in my possession. I would say $500. $500 would make me feel a little bit better. But, you know, ideally, I don't know. So I've always done it this way. Most people do it this way. So I would say $1,000 makes me feel a lot better. Just to have as like a buffer. So impulse, I've been calling that just impulse, but it's also been a buffer. But I recently started an actual buffer envelope so that I have two separate things. But yeah, I would say $1,000 would make me feel a little bit better, but it's gonna take time to get there. So yeah, this is really all I have as far as kind of a month look back, and it's not ideal. So with that, I created a no spend November, and then I put my paycheck dates to kind of keep me motivated. Like I said, although I do a lot of things online as far as like putting my financial stuff in of what I spend, this is something I'm going to put on the fridge and I'm going to look at it every single day because I have to go to the fridge for multiple things every single day. So did I not? The only thing with no spend, I would say, you know, if it's something I've accounted for. So if it's something I did not account for, then it would go on here. So if I want to get a boba and I accounted for the boba, you can get the boba and you don't have to put the sad face. So yeah, I want to create a healthy relationship with money, and I think this is also a good tool for me as well. But yeah, thank you so much for watching this video. I know it's more so chatty, but I know there are other people that are that are that are out there that are like me. Sorry, sometimes I talk backwards and forwards and reverse. It's fun. But yeah, there are people that are like me and they really don't know where to go or feel that they're alone in this. And honestly, you're not. You're never alone in this. And it's really hard when you don't have a background in this. So I kind of feel like I don't have an upper hand in this, which is fine. And it kind of motivates me more to keep pushing and to keep going. And, you know, even though we've hit a speed bump, you go over the bump and you keep on driving. But yeah, thank you so much for watching this. If you liked it, please thumbs up, hit that notification bell, and I would love to hear your stories as well, as far as kind of your history with money and where you're at and kind of what's helped you and motivated you to keep going forward, because it's not easy. And I've only been paying on student loans for the past 3 years, and it feels like it's taken forever. But yeah, we're gonna get through it. I would love to pay off my loans faster. So I hope you guys have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you again soon.